Hello and welcome. My name is Dr. Jessica Oswere, and this is Ruby's Hub. And today, we will be diving deep into one of the most pressing issues shaping our nation's future, the Nigeria education funding crisis. Education is the backbone of every society. It is the engine of national development. It builds human capital, it drives innovation, and lays the foundation for social stability. But when it is underfunded, the ripple effects cut across generations. In this session, we'll be discussing the challenges, the realities, and the possibilities for a sustainable solution. The first and most pressing challenge in the Nigerian education funding is underinvestment. Nigeria spends far below international standards on education. Currently, education takes only about 1 to 2% of the nation's gross domestic product and around 5 to 8% of the federal budget. This is a huge gap when compared to UNESCO's benchmark of 4 to 6% of GDP and at least 15 to 20% of the budget. This gap means that our schools are trying to deliver 21st century education with 20th century resources. This underfunding by government has brought heavy financial burden on households. Families are forced to cover between 60 and 70% of education costs. For many parents, particularly those in rural areas or low-income communities, this is quite unsustainable. The result is tragic but predictable. When survival is at stake, education is often the first sacrifice or casualty because children will be pulled out of school since their parents could not afford fees, uniforms, or books. And this leads us to the third problem, which is the out-of-school children crisis. Nigeria holds one of the largest populations of out-of-school children in the world. According to UNICEF, an estimated 10.2 million children at the primary level and 8.1 million at the junior secondary level are not in school. This is alarming. That means close to 20 million young Nigerians are being denied the foundation they need to thrive in life. No nation can progress with such a large portion of its future leaders left behind. Another challenge is the volatility and inefficiency of education spending. Much of the budget is consumed by salaries with little left for infrastructures, learning materials, or teacher training and development. Worse still, we have leakages through ghost workers, inflated contracts, and weak procurement systems which drain funds that should be strengthening our classrooms. Finally, the sector is also crippled by structural weaknesses. We have overcrowded classrooms, insufficient teachers, and as a result, we are consistently having poor learning outcomes. Many children who are in school are not really learning, and Nigeria ranks low in global assessments of literacy and numeracy. The crisis, therefore, is not just about access to education, but also the quality of education in Nigeria. So, how do we begin to resolve this crisis? The first step is to block all leakages. The payroll must be cleaned up to remove ghost workers. There's also the need for the use of electronic procurement platforms to ensure transparency, because doing this can free up significant resources. Money that is already allocated must be protected from waste and corruption. The second resolution is equity in access. We need to remove school fees that exclude the poorest families and provide targeted support for our girls, for rural communities, and for children living with disabilities. These groups are the most vulnerable to being left behind, and any serious policy must prioritize them. Thirdly, we must strengthen teachers and our data systems. Teachers are the backbone of education. Without adequate training, motivation, and support, even the best policies will fail. At the same time, Nigeria's data on education is often outdated or incomplete. So we need stronger data systems that will help policymakers and all stakeholders to make evidence-based decisions rather than guesswork. And fourthly, we must embrace innovative financing. Government alone cannot carry the burden. We need to crowd in resources from non-state actors such as communities, employers of labor, philanthropists, and development partners. Education should be a collective responsibility because the benefits are also collective. And this is where Ruby's Hub steps in. At Ruby's Hub, we have designed an organic education funding program or scheme that brings everyone into the solution. And this solution was designed in partnership with international organizations and local stakeholders to create a safety net around every child's education. So with as little as $10, you can establish an education funding scheme for your child. And that is just about the price of a meal at a fast food restaurant. And here's the key. The funds are strictly dedicated to education, and that's the beauty of it. The fund can only be used for fees, books, uniforms, exams, and other school-related items. And what does this mean in practice? It means parents and communities can finally build a safety net around their children's education. No child will have to drop out of school. So, for this to work, we all have a role to play. Our government must step up. There must be political will, because political will is the foundation of every reforms. So there must be political will to block all leakages. There must be political will to ring-fence education budget. We cannot continue to lose billions of naira to ghost workers and procurement fraud while our classrooms collapse. We must prioritize equity. We must close the gap between what we spend and what we should be spending. Communities and employers must also join in by co-investing in education funding schemes like what Ruby's Hub offers. They are not just helping children, they are also securing the skills and workforce that their industries will rely on tomorrow. And parents and guardians should know that this is where their power truly lies. They can start small, they can start early. A $10 support for your child today, sustained and grown, could be the very thing that keeps your child in school all the way from primary to secondary school and beyond. So in conclusion, the truth is simple. Nigeria's education crisis is daunting, but it is not unsolvable. We know the problems and we know the solutions. What we therefore need is courage, commitment, and innovation. And Ruby's Hub offers such innovation. The future of Nigeria will not be decided in boardrooms or campaign rallies. It will be decided in classrooms. So the question is, should we invest in that future, or should we leave it to chance? The time to act is now. So let us act together. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this discussion insightful, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you won't miss any of our future conversations. And we would also love to hear from you. Please drop your thoughts, your ideas, and comments in the comment section below. Your voice truly matters in shaping these dialogues. And of course, please connect with us across all our social media platforms. Let's keep the conversation alive, because education is everybody's business, and together we can drive that change. So until next time, I'm Dr. Jessica Oswere, and this is reminding you that knowledge empowers while actions transform.